I was born into a family that struggled to make ends meet. My parents worked tirelessly, but the debts kept piling up. I was the eldest of 5 siblings, and I felt the weight of responsibility on my shoulders. I had dreams, aspirations, but they were overshadowed by the harsh reality of our financial situation. Then, Richard came into my life. He was a widower, with grown children who were closer to my age than he was. He was a man of wealth and power, a man who could provide the financial stability my family desperately needed. I was drawn to him, not for his charm or his looks, but for the comfort and security he could provide. I knew the decision to marry him wouldn't be easy. I was aware of the whispers, the judgmental glances, the unspoken questions. But I also knew that this was a sacrifice I was willing to make for my family. Being married to Richard was a challenge. He was set in his ways, and I often felt more like a caretaker than a wife. His health was fragile, and I spent many nights worrying about him. His children, my stepchildren, were another story. They were suspicious of me, and our relationship was strained. They saw me as an intruder, a gold digger who was after their father's wealth. But I was determined to prove them wrong. I worked hard to build a relationship with them, to show them that I cared for their father, not his money. It was a slow and arduous process, but over time, they began to see me for who I truly was. Despite the hardships, there were moments of joy and contentment. Richard, despite his age, was a kind and gentle soul. He treated me with respect and kindness, and I found myself growing fond of him. We shared quiet moments together, moments that were filled with genuine affection and understanding. I won't deny that my life was unconventional. I won't deny that there were moments of doubt and regret. But I also won't deny that I made the decision out of love for my family. I chose a path that was difficult, but it was a path that led to financial stability and security for my loved ones. Life as Richard's wife was a constant balancing act. On one hand, I was living a life of comfort and luxury, something I had never imagined for myself. On the other hand, I was constantly under scrutiny, my every move watched and judged by those around us. Our neighbors were polite, but I could see the curiosity in their eyes. They would smile and nod, but behind their cordiality, I could sense their skepticism. They saw me as a young woman who had married an old man for his wealth. They didn't see the sleepless nights, the worry lines on my face, the sacrifices I had made. Richard's children were the hardest to deal with. They were grown adults, with lives and families of their own. But they saw me as a threat, an outsider who had wormed her way into their father's life. They accused me of being a gold digger, of marrying their father for his money. Their words stung, but I held my head high. I knew my intentions, and I wasn't going to let their accusations break me. Despite the challenges, I found solace in the fact that I was able to help my family. I was able to pay off our debts, to provide for my siblings' education, to ensure that they had a secure future. Seeing the relief on my parents' faces, the gratitude in my siblings' eyes, made all the hardships worth it. I remember one particular evening, I was sitting with my youngest brother, helping him with his homework. He looked up at me, his eyes shining with admiration, and said, "Lily, you're my hero." Those words, so simple yet so profound, filled my heart with warmth. I realized then that no matter what the world thought of me, I was making a difference in the lives of the people I loved. Life with Richard was far from easy. There were moments of loneliness, moments of frustration, moments when I questioned my choices. But there were also moments of joy, moments of peace, moments when I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. As the months turned into years, Richard's health began to deteriorate. His once vibrant eyes lost their sparkle, his strong voice became a whisper, and his robust laughter turned into a weak chuckle. I found myself spending more and more time by his bedside, holding his frail hand, and trying to keep the fear at bay. Richard's children, my stepchildren, became more hostile. They accused me of not taking proper care of their father. They blamed me for his declining health, their words filled with anger and resentment. It was a painful accusation, one that cut me to the core. I was doing everything I could to ensure Richard's comfort, but it seemed like it was never enough for them. The situation took a turn for the worse when they discovered Richard's last testament. He had left me a significant portion of his wealth, a decision that fueled their anger and suspicion. They saw it as a confirmation of their worst fears, that I had married their father for his money. The accusations became more frequent, more vicious. I felt like I was under siege, my every move scrutinized and criticized. Despite the turmoil, I held on. I held on for Richard, who despite his frailty, still managed to give me a reassuring smile. I held on for my family, who depended on me. I held on for myself, because I knew I had done nothing wrong. The accusations, the hostility, the constant scrutiny, it was all incredibly hard to bear. There were nights when I would cry myself to sleep, my heart heavy with the weight of the world. But I would wake up the next morning, wipe my tears, and face the world with a brave face. I had to be strong, not just for myself, but for everyone who depended on me. I found solace in the little things. The way Richard's eyes would light up when I walked into the room. The way my siblings would hug me tight, their eyes filled with gratitude. The way my parents would look at me, their faces etched with pride. These moments, these fleeting moments of joy, gave me the strength to carry on. Life was hard, harder than I had ever imagined. But I was not going to let it break me. I was going to fight, to stand my ground, to prove to the world that I was not the person they thought I was. I was Lily, a woman of strength, a woman of courage, a woman who would not be defeated. I remember the day Richard fell ill vividly. It started with a persistent cough and fatigue that seemed to worsen with each passing day. Concerned, I urged him to see a doctor, hoping it was just a minor ailment. Little did I know that our lives were about to change forever. The doctor's diagnosis was devastating. Richard was critically ill, and he needed immediate medical attention. We were both in shock, grappling with the reality of the situation. But I promised him that I would be by his side every step of the way. Richard was admitted to the hospital, and for the next few weeks, our lives revolved around his care. I spent countless hours sitting by his bedside, holding his hand, and offering words of comfort. It was a roller coaster of emotions, filled with hope, fear, and uncertainty. I watched as Richard's condition fluctuated, sometimes showing signs of improvement, and other times facing setbacks. The medical team worked tirelessly to provide him with the best care possible, and I admired their dedication and expertise. During those weeks in the hospital, I became Richard's constant companion. I would bring him his favorite books and play his favorite music, hoping to provide some comfort amidst the sterile hospital environment. We shared moments of laughter, reminiscing about our fondest memories together. There were nights when Richard would struggle to sleep, plagued by pain and discomfort. I would hold his hand and softly sing his favorite songs, hoping to ease his suffering and bring him a sense of peace. I wanted him to know that he was not alone, that I was there with him until his last breath. And then, that fateful day arrived. Richard's condition took a turn for the worse, and it became clear that his time with us was coming to an end. I held his hand tightly, tears streaming down my face, as I whispered words of love and gratitude for the beautiful life we had shared. In that moment, as Richard took his last breath, a wave of grief washed over me. I felt a mix of emotions: sadness, loss, and a deep sense of emptiness. But I also felt a profound gratitude for having been by his side until the very end, for being able to offer him comfort and love in his final moments. Richard's passing left a void in my life that can never be filled. But I find solace in knowing that I was there for him when he needed me the most. The memories we created during those weeks in the hospital will forever be etched in my heart. Life can be unpredictable and cruel, but it also has a way of reminding us of the strength of our love and the resilience of the human spirit. Though Richard's illness and eventual passing brought immense pain, I am grateful for the opportunity to have been there for him until his last breath. After Richard's death, my world felt like it had shattered into a million pieces. The grief was overwhelming, and I struggled to come to terms with the fact that he was no longer by my side. But amidst the pain, I never anticipated the storm that was about to hit me. As we prepared for Richard's wake, tensions began to rise between me and his children. They had always resented our relationship, feeling that I had somehow taken their father's attention away from them. But I never thought they would stoop so low during such a difficult time. During the wake, Richard's children unleashed a torrent of humiliation and hurtful words towards me. They accused me of being a gold digger, claiming that I had manipulated their father for his wealth. The words cut deep, and the weight of their accusations felt unbearable. But the torment didn't end there. Richard's children, fueled by their anger and greed, filed a lawsuit against me, contesting the distribution of Richard's estate. They sought to claim a significant portion of his inheritance, leaving me feeling betrayed and devastated. The news of the legal battle spread like wildfire throughout the town. People whispered and speculated, turning my personal tragedy into a public spectacle. It felt like my every move was scrutinized, and I became the target of judgment and gossip. Despite the pain, humiliation, and harassment, I refused to let them break me. I knew deep down that I had done nothing wrong and that Richard's love for me was genuine. I stood my ground, determined to fight for what was rightfully mine and to protect Richard's legacy. With the support of my close friends and family, I assembled a strong legal team to defend my case. It was a grueling battle, filled with countless court hearings, interrogations, and emotional turmoil. But I refused to back down, fueled by the love I had for Richard and the strength within me. Throughout the legal proceedings, I faced constant attacks from Richard's children and their lawyers. They tried to paint me as a villain, twisting the truth and distorting our relationship. But I remained steadfast, providing evidence and testimonies that showcased the genuine love and companionship Richard and I shared. As the case progressed, the truth began to emerge, and the court saw through the false accusations. It became clear that Richard's children were driven by their own selfish motives, and their claims held no merit. The judge ruled in my favor, recognizing me as the rightful heir to Richard's estate. The victory brought a sense of justice and closure to the painful chapter in my life. It wasn't an easy journey, and the scars left by the harassment and humiliation will always be a part of me. But I emerged stronger, more resilient, and determined to live a life that honors Richard's memory. Despite the hurt and the challenges I faced, I chose to focus on the love Richard and I shared. I cherish the beautiful moments we had together and the impact he had on my life. I refuse to let the negativity define me, and instead, I choose to embrace the future with hope and optimism. Life has a way of throwing unexpected twists and turns, but it's how we navigate through them that truly defines us. I've learned that standing up for ourselves and fighting for what is right is never easy, but it is worth it. And I will continue to honor Richard's memory by living a life of strength, resilience, and love.
Thank you. If you found this content educational and enjoyable, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos, stories, and narratives.